All right. Hey guys, it's something Rush. It's replays like these that inspired me to fucking keep playing World of Tanks because, oh my god, I love Kolobanovs medals. They're the most fun to watch, and watching, especially when it's good players who get them. Oh my god, like I really enjoy these types of replays. So we're watching Michael in his E50M. He's an EU server player. I looked up his stats, 3,800 recent, so really good tier 10 player. Now, I typically, like, I watch this replay to try to figure out how, like, what the E50M was like, but how he plays is a really interesting approach to the map Fjords. So what he does, and when I was watching this at first, I was like, why is he going mid in an E50M? There's no way any decent game would ever start like that. But if you look at this play, what he's doing is he's coming to the middle of the map to get blind shots on while the enemy team has 5 tank destroyers. So he's actually coming to the middle of the map to try to shoot at basically their Scorpion G's, Charioteer, and STRV. Okay, so this is where I made a mistake. When Michael comes to this position, if you look where he's aiming, he's not actually aiming in a position that would initially get him shots on tank destroyers. He's basically going to be able to shoot at mediums who YOLO through like this, and then also any tanks that are just driving into the middle of the map for whatever reason. So I maintain this position wouldn't, I think, to the function of getting shots on the TDs should be the main focus of this play, but from watching the replay, you can tell Michael is not doing that. He's looking for shots on tanks kind of in this area because that's exactly where he's aiming. What he does is he knocks over these trees so that they're helping him in this area, and a lot of other trees got knocked over, so you kind of want to notice what gets knocked over in this replay because it actually helps him towards the end of the game. And you can see, whether or not this is on purpose or not, he's able to use these trees to get shots. And what he does is he's not getting spotted or anything like that, so very quickly he starts just blind firing at the bushes. Now I'm going to fast forward it because who the hell cares if he's doing nothing. He sees a tree fall down, and that starts kind of inspiring where his shots go. And normally you'd expect some sort of medium to have rushed mid, and that's where you can maybe get shots. But you can see my kill here in his E50M. I would be blind firing more, honestly. Even with all these trees falling, I think you'd expect the TD to basically be up here. Now, he's not doing that. Whatever, it's just a small comment on his play. He's sitting here waiting for stuff, and then suddenly a Yag Tiger gets spotted. Now, my kill hasn't been lit up to this point in the replay. So he puts a shot towards the Yag Tiger, and this thing is basically designed for this type of play. The E50M, although it's not as good of a sniper as like YouTubers would have you believe, he's able to snipe at the Yag Tiger's superstructure, and in some cases he's actually going to get those shots to go in. Now, I think he probably should switch to gold about here, and I think it's basically his next round right here. He's going to take this blind shot, I think, once the Yag Tiger moves up, basically. I think, there you go. So he's got heat loaded, and the enemy team you start to 2.5 minutes into the game, you start to figure out how the enemy team is dispersing. So this shot on the Yag Tiger goes in. This is where you'd kind of check the map. You'd see the lots of tanks to the north are spotted, and there's also a bunch of tanks in the south. So this is actually a really good beginning of the game, because what he's done by being in the middle of the map, if he loses the north or loses the south, he can deal with both. Now, the Scorpion G just randomly gets spotted YOLOing into him. He misses the shot. It's whatever. And what Michael decides to do is he sees, look, there's nothing happening in the middle, and we've started to lose the south. Now, for those of you who don't know, the south is a very defensible flank if you play in a really armored tank, and you basically just have to play well. So if you look at the fight that Michael's going into, you would initially think, okay, he probably can't win this because they've got 4 tanks. You know, they're about to kill a 54E1. The WT dies really quickly right here, and he, like you see, he's just driving out into the open. He's going to get himself killed. So to me, this is a very challenging fight to take, but Michael plays it perfectly. The WT dies really soon. He doesn't even pen his shot right there, and Michael's coming out. Now, the E50M's great at brawling in this situation, but everyone he fights should be able to, like, reasonably pen him, basically. And so what he does is he's just getting shots first, he's side-swiping, he falls back to this angle right here, and by falling back to this angle and letting the enemy teams come around this corner, he's letting his arty start to get shots. So this is why this is very defensible. He can sit here, he's going to be reasonably held down, he can also reasonably side-scrape, and he's bringing his bat shot and his M53 and maybe his GW into the fight. So Mouse pushes in, he's going to get the kill. The Mouse played like a bot, just going to be honest there, so lucky of my kill to be fighting that player in that instance. The T10's playing this decently, but you can see the T10's way too confident against the full HP E50M. My kill's able to get the kill, and I really like this play. Most people would ram the IS-3 in this context. My kill just got shot, and he's just going to get the kill. I don't think it's worth the HP when you're this far down. His team is 5 tanks down to ram an IS-3, basically, just to... It wouldn't have changed anything. The IS-3 had already bounced, so it would have just costed him HP. Now, Scorpion G is flanking, so Michael puts a shot into him, and you can see he's side-scraping. So he's actually able to bounce the angle on the Scorpion G. Because the Scorpion G just fired, Michael's pushing in. Now, the Scorpion G died to Artie, so my kill should have been able to get that one, but he wasn't. And then suddenly a full HP Yag Tiger, the guy who was previously in the middle of the map, has decided to push through the mid. So my kill deals with this really well. I don't know the Yag Tiger's reload off the top of my head, but clearly it's 2 shots for every 1 that my kill does. So what he does is he puts his shots into the Yag Tiger, and he's using this WT for cover. Now, he's side-scraping this guy, and the WT isn't the biggest tank for cover, but what he basically does is he forces the Yag Tiger's gun to shoot at the WT. He's using the WT to block the shot. So he plays this really well. A lot of people would be rushing the Yag Tiger, and the problem with that is it would just lose your HP. In this case, my kill's done 5k damage, and he hasn't been penned once. Now, I think he should have been penned once, especially down there, but people get lucky. The bottom line is he's played so well that he's been able to get this lucky, and now he's got full HP tier 10 tank to deal with the 5 remaining tanks on the enemy team. So he comes to this flank. This is to defend the base. He misses the shot on the 62A. He shot just in time. So that was a good shot despite it not going in, because the 62A was able to get hull down immediately after. So even though it didn't go in, he took the chance, just didn't get lucky in that instance. Now, Samoa pokes, he gets the shot on the Samoa. This is where you'd start looking at your map, because what you'd expect is Artie's going to start moving if they're mobile. And you might also expect to get flanked by the STRV. And then there's the STRV. Just like I said, at the timing that I mentioned it, the STRV rams the E50M. So it works out. Not as much ramming damage as you'd expect, but Michael does a really good job of ramming him to try to get the kill. And what he doesn't do is he doesn't follow the STRV to get the ram kill in this instance, because that would bring the 62A and the Samoa into the fight. Now, it would also make him not already safe, because he's kind of got this behind him, so it does manage to keep him already safe. Now, Samoa's pushing in. He takes 1 hit. He's going to try to get that shot off good. The Samoa hits him twice. He's got the HP to kind of deal with this. You would really be watching your map in this situation, because you'd expect Artie to flank you. Now 62A gets spotted. It's really good he got the kill on the 62A, ignoring the Samoa. And now pushing in this instance is great, because you're going to expect the Artie to be in J4 or coming through the mid at this point. That's just what a mobile M53, M55 would be doing, basically. So pushes into the Samoa, gets the gets ramming damage, finishes him off for the 7th kill. Now, at this point, it's very easy to lose, because the enemy team has a T92. He will hit you for 400. The GW hit you for 300, and the M53 will hit you for 300. And most of the time, these players are going to be very campy. So my kill checks this angle to see if Artie's come this way. It's really decent that he did that. There's no one there, and he's just going to drive, because he's got 8 minutes left. And like I'm going to criticize this a bit. He's played perfectly up until this point. I think he's a bit aggressive here, because you might expect Artie to be rotating. And there you go. He finds the T92. Now, he catches the T92 off guard, but the T92 gets lucky and snapshots him. So he's down to 600 HP. And my kill plays correctly here in not chasing the T92 down, because if he's lit and he reverses into the open back here, like he could have done to shoot at the T92, you'd expect him to get Artied by some other Artie that's backing him up. I can tell you in this game, it was the GW Tiger that would have hit him right here. So he comes to these bushes, and this is what I meant by knocking over the trees. He's got a shitload of foliage cover right here, and I would personally be blind firing here right now, just in case. Again, I'm nitpicking. I would just guess the T92 reverses really slowly. He's probably not going to have done much. My kill drives in. He takes a hit from the M53, who's supporting the T92, loses 100 HP, and then the M53 gets lit. So the T92 is dead, and you can see he's where I would have suggested blind firing. It worked out. The reason blind firing might have been a good call is just to avoid getting spotted, basically. And what you could have also done is you could maybe dive down into here to try to avoid getting clipped. Whatever. He played very well. I'm just giving alternatives. Now, M53 just fired, so my kill is YOLOing this. This is the right thing to do, because he's got 400 HP. He cannot afford to get hit by Artie again, and he's just pushing in. He's able to get his 9th kill on the M53, who's reloading. And then once again, I think this is a bit bold. Watch how this ends up, and then you'll understand what I have to say. He's driving into a very common Artie position. Normally Artie will be sitting here, here, or maybe up on the 0 line, and you can see the GW Tiger's right here. Now, the GW Tiger has no gun depression. Most already don't have gun depression, and so it works in this instance, but the GW Tiger's throwing. He should be in this bush ready for my kill to YOLO him, and my kill is YOLOing him. Like, the guy should be ready for this. So he pushes in, the GW Tiger gets shot once, and if you're the GW Tiger and you get shot, wait for the enemy to, like, you have time. The guy just fired. You have 7 seconds. You don't have to shoot immediately and miss. So the GW Tiger panic shot, basically, and that's going to give my kill the kill. But I kind of suspect that sitting on cap or something like that would have been better in this game. However, My kill played phenomenally. The opening position is something I would never have conceived of, and really, I really like it, actually. I think you're going to get a lot of shots in the mid if you make a play like that, and the north is substandard. Just on average, it's not the greatest play. So if you're looking for an alternative, like, I'm going to start playing like this based on this replay. I think it worked really well. Put himself in the middle of the map, let him defend the south and then the north, and if you're going to put yourself in, like, the best way to carry is to put yourself in the middle of the map, because that lets you react to other things very easily. So I think that was a really good job. Let's go take a look at the end plates, and then we'll go from there. That game, I'm really, like, that was wild. I should probably take a screenshot, eh? All right, so this is currently the highest kill game in the E50M. This thing just got buffed. He did 10 kills, 9.7k damage, mastery badge, Top Gun, high caliber, Pools medal, Kolobanovs medal, Dimitri's medal, and a steel wall. Fucking amazing. One thing I wanted to comment on is how important his play was to maintain his HP. He could never have won if he had been any more aggressive. Like, ramming could have very easily thrown the game someone, because if he'd lost 300 HP, people might have been more confident YOLOing him. Like, the fact that he was full HP at the end of the game really allowed him to win that one. So 9,672 damage. That's actually all that's all that matters. None of his team did anything. The best player was the Rheinmetall Scorpion, who fired 3 shots, he penned 3 of them, and then he died. So that team was not the greatest. He was able to get 10 kills because of it, 9,600 damage, and that was the game. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to see more of my videos, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And if you want my mentoring services, I will put a link in the description. Click on that. The details will be there. And yeah, jeez. It's actually a lot of fun. I really like my job. So yeah, anyways, bye for now.